So Samsung has everything but officially announced their new foldables, so it's never a mystery with them. We know exactly what we're going to get. And, they're moving from calling this the Z Fold model to the Z Fold Ultra. So in other words, this is the Z Fold 7, the Z Fold 8 is going to be the Ultra. Why? Well, it's because they're coming out with a smaller, shorter, wider fold that they're going to call the Z Fold 8. Let's talk about it. So here in late July, I think around the 22nd or so, they're going to do the official announcement. But there's so many leaks out there and everything that we know it already what is going to go on with the Samsung Fold. So the question that we have to decide, is do you want the wide or do you want the tall, the ultra? Now they're making it pretty easy for you if you're a camera person. And what I mean by that is, you've got that third camera here that you're not going to get in the smaller version. So my question is the smaller one going to be considered a flagship? I mean, even their basic phones have at least the 3 lenses, like the S26 and S27 that'll be coming out next year. They're all going to have 3 cameras, where the Z Fold 8 wide version is only going to have 2. And that camera that they're taking away is my favorite, which is the zoom lens or telephoto lens. Now, I'm sure they're going to allow you to crop in up to 10 times with their 50 megapixel lens. No, since they're only going to put a 50 megapixel instead of a 200, maybe not. They might allow you to crop in 2 times. And basically what that means, it's taking a 50 megapixel standard photo and they're just cropping in to make it look like you're zooming in. The magic of marketing. So that there is going to be one of the big major differences between the standard or the ultra and the standard wide fold. Is it's going to be missing the camera. And when you look here at Android Central, they're saying the same thing. Which one do you want? Will the wide get flagship features? It sounds like, you can see the difference between the two of them, although you're not seeing the actual size difference here. We know that the Z Fold 8 is going to get the flagship Snapdragon 8 Gen Elite 5. That's the newest chip out there. And of course, that's been out in a lot of phones already. I mean, we've got it in the S26 Ultra. I've got it in my Honor phones, so it's out there in so many. And the rumor is that the Z Fold 8, the standard, may not get the full Elite chip. They may go with what they put in the Motorola Razr Fold, which I think would be smart, which is the Snapdragon Gen 5 non-Elite, because it's not technically the full best ultra processor out there. So that would be my expectations, but Samsung's going to do their Samsung thing. They may put it in it just so they can try and push it. Now, I think hopefully a major difference between the two will also be price. We're hoping, since the Z Fold 8 doesn't have that extra camera, and because it's just a standard, it's not an ultra, the price could come down. But the other option is they may end up raising the price on the ultra just so they can bring the standard one up to the $1899, which means we're probably going to pay $2,000 or even $2,100 for the Z Fold 8 Ultra. Now let's talk about other changes from the Z Fold 7 to the Z Fold 8. They're going to put the new chip in it. The dramatic pause was me trying to find something else that they're going to change. Oh, they're changing the name. It's going to become the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra. And then again, they're probably going to change the price, bring it up. Now, already the Z Fold is struggling with actually meeting expectations or actually competing with the competition because, the Motorola Razr just came out. This thing came out with 16 gigabytes of RAM, where you have 12 here on the Z Fold. This came out with 512 storage. This is probably going to start at $258. And if you want the 512, you're going to have to pay a couple $100 more. This thing has the fast charging, 80-watt charging and 50 watts wireless. This is, if we're lucky, they might give it the 45-watt charging this year. And I think 25 watts wireless. It may still be 15. And then, of course, no magnetic built-in MagSafe charging. And you don't have that here with the Razr either. I think they did that to keep costs down. But Samsung's doing it to keep costs up so they can sell you their cases because they want to sell you the MagSafe case. And then, of course, the cameras, they have the 200 megapixel lens on the Z Fold 7, and that's what they're going to continue on the Z Fold 8. And then they're dropping to a 10 megapixel 3x zoom. Come on. That is so old. You got 50 megapixel 3x zoom here. And then you have a 10 megapixel or maybe a 12 megapixel. I think it's a 10 megapixel ultra wide. Then of course you have the 50 megapixel ultra wide over here. Even the Pixel Fold beats this one as far as the cameras. So how in the world they're going to call this an ultra, I don't know. But that's pretty much it. I don't think they might go a little bit thinner. Oh, yes, they're going to put a 5,000 milliamp hour battery in here versus a 4,500. But you got 6,000 over here in the Motorola, and everything else is going up way above 5,000. And then the Z Fold 8, the wide, is going to have like a 4,800 milliamp hour battery. So they're still going to have the smallest batteries in the industry, but they have One UI 8. So if you're a Samsung user and you love that One UI, then the 8 would be the phone for you. You just need to decide whether you want the Ultra or the wide. Now, I do want to make a quick correction because I did look this up again. They're going to come out with 50 megapixel ultra wide, and I guess that's because they're putting it on the smaller phone. Okay, the wide phone, they're going to have a 50 megapixel main and a 50 megapixel ultra wide. So they had to bump it up to an ultra wide here on the Z Fold just so that it can continue to be called an ultra. But it's going to have that 10 megapixel zoom lens. Now, there's clearly going to be more on this to come. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more content, because we're going to review these things closer, and the more information that we get leaked, we're going to make sure to share that with you. Now I want to know what you think. Are you excited about the Z Fold 8 or the Z Fold 8 Ultra? I get them mixed up. Okay, the wide or the narrow. Are you excited about either one? I personally am excited to check out that Z Fold 8, the wide, and we'll definitely bring that to you. If you want to see more on the expectation of these phones, check out this video here. Until next time, have a wonderful day and God bless.